Tell me how you check the brakes are working before starting a journey. The brakes should not feel spongy or slack. The brakes should be tested as you set off. The vehicle should not pull to one side. Tell me where you'd find the information for the recommended tyre pressure for this car and how the tyre pressures should be checked. You can find it in the manufacturer's guide, and we use a reliable pressure gauge. Check and adjust the pressures when the tyres are cold, and don't forget the spare tyre. Remember to refit the valve cap. Tell me how you'd make sure the head restraint is correctly adjusted. The head restraint should be adjusted so the rigid part of the head restraint is at least as high as the top of the eyes or the ears. Tell me how you would check the tyres to ensure that they have sufficient tread depth and their general condition is safe to use on the road. No cuts or bulges should be on the tyre wall. 1.6 millimetres of tread depth across the central 3/4 of the breadth and all around the entire outer circumference of the tyre. Tell me how you would check the headlights and taillights are working. You won't need to exit the vehicle. Explain you would operate the switch, turn on the ignition if necessary, then walk around the vehicle. As this is a tell me question, you don't need to physically check the lights. Tell me how you'd know if there was a problem with your anti-lock braking system. The orange ABS warning light should stay on if there's a fault with the anti-lock braking system. Tell me how you would check the directional indicators are working. You won't need to exit the vehicle on your test. Locate the hazard switch and press it. Walk around the vehicle, check they're all working. Tell me how you would check the brake lights are working on this car. Explain you'd operate the brake pedal, make use of the reflections in the windows or the wall, or you could ask someone to help you. Tell me how you would check the power assisted steering is working before starting a journey. If the steering becomes heavy, the system may not be working properly. Before starting a journey, 2 simple checks can be made. Gentle pressure on the steering wheel maintained while the engine is started should result in a slight but noticeable movement as the system begins to operate. Alternatively, turning the steering wheel just after moving off will give an immediate indication that the power assistance is functioning. Tell me how you'd switch on the rear fog lights and explain when you'd use them. You won't need to exit the vehicle on your test. Locate the rear fog light and operate the switch. Turn on dimmed headlights and the ignition if necessary. Check the warning light is on, and we would use our fog lights when visibility is less than 100 metres. Tell me how you would switch on your headlights from dip to main beam and explain how you know the main beam is on. Operate the switch and check the main beam warning light is on. This is indicated by the blue light. To open the bonnet, we use the bonnet release catch, usually located in one of the footwells. After doing this, the bonnet should pop up. We'll walk round to the front of the vehicle and apply gentle pressure to lift the bonnet. We find the release lever and we slide it right to left. That should release the bonnet, allowing you to lift it up. We use the bonnet support rod and we find its locator and should be able to take our hands off the bonnet. So to check the oil, we locate the dipstick. Using a cloth or a tissue, we pull it out and clean it. Pop it back in and remove it once again. We check the oil level should be between the minimum and maximum line. Open the bonnet and tell me how you check that the engine has sufficient engine coolant. Identify the engine coolant tank and the level should be somewhere between the minimum and maximum line on the side of the bottle. Open the bonnet and tell me how you check that you have safe level of hydraulic brake fluid. Identify the reservoir and check levels against high and low markings. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you'd wash and clean the rear windscreen? Using the stalk on the right, we would just press it away from us. Hold it for a second and release. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you would wash and clean the front windscreen? Using the lever on the right, pull it towards you giving it enough time to actually clean the windscreen. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you'd switch on your dipped headlights? Using this dial, we're just going to turn it once to the left. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you would operate the rear demister? Locate the button, give it a gentle press, make sure you switch it off. When it's safe to do so, show me how you would operate the horn. Give it a quick heep. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you demist the front windscreen? Locate the button, give it a gentle press, and don't forget to switch it off. When it's safe to do so, can you show me how you'd open and close the side window? Using the button, open the window a couple of inches, and don't forget to pull it back up.